I feel like I am going to really put some myths about cheating to rest.
Geek.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Latanya Sampson McDonald. I am a registered associate marriage and family therapist and a life coach. This video, I feel like I am going to really put some myths about cheating to rest, okay? Infidelity is what I'm talking about today. So, why do people cheat? I'm gonna teach you, okay? I'm gonna teach you what to look at. I believe the full answer to that is self-esteem, okay? And when they say the cliche phrase, it's not you, it's me, they're not lying. Okay, that person I feel like is actually being honest because it has nothing to do with the other person. 9 times out of 10, like it really doesn't. Okay, it has to do, especially if you're a serial cheater, like you just can't, like every relationship you've been cheating, majority of your relationships, has nothing to do. Like it has a lot to do with the ego. Okay. And just because you have a big ego, that doesn't mean that you have high self-esteem. Not at all. Okay. Let's look at some common examples, right? You got what's his name? Tristan Thompson. You have Kevin Hart, you have Jay-Z, just about any celebrity, right? I'm gonna use them because we kind of have some background of what their story is, even though they're not my personal client, but we have background, right? We have sort of this knowledge that's already out there that we can replay what they say and their behavior to connect the dots, basically. And when I do it, I'm connecting the dots based off of experiences that I've had with clients and what I've learned in school and just all the insight that I could bring to the table to come to why I believe this theory is true. All right. So I'm so grateful that Jay-Z actually said it, that he had low self-esteem. Okay. He didn't love himself at the time, and you can't, right? When you look at the embarrassment, okay, that when these celebrities, when something happens to them, the whole world, like even though they're regular people, but it's kind of like times 10 because the whole world has to watch the embarrassment unfold. Okay. And I also, let's not negate the ones that stay. The ones that stay and the ones that keep going back, I'll put them in the same boat. All right. If it's a constant thing and it's a never, it doesn't stop and there's no consequences for their actions, and there was no, okay, let's go to therapy and work this out. There was none of that, right? There's no change in the behavior. I would say ultimately, I believe that the one that stays has low self-esteem too. Okay. And in a lot of these relationships, the person has been this way and they still married them based off of what, I don't know, maybe necessity. Everybody has their reasons, but 9 times out of 10, these people have low self-esteem. together. But I was happy that Jay-Z said it, because you're looking at the women that I would say, based off of the standard of beauty, are top tier, okay, of what's supposed to be the finest. And when it comes, especially when it comes to our culture, Eurocentric standards, right? Even though African standards are the actual standard, but we'll talk about that in another video. But based off of what they push out in the media, Beyonce and Halle Berry, okay, what they had to go through, what the Kardashians have to go through, okay, what a lot of, I would say, athletes get outed for. The standards, like they all have a type, right? It's usually this racially and light skin or racially ambiguous or white, okay? Eurocentric standards, like I said. But if these women are supposed to be your top tier, right? Why are you going outside your house? Right? It's the same reason when we relate it back to depression and all of the mental, I would say, mental illness. I don't know if I want to say mental illness or the actions, right? Because it's the same thing that has to deal with people that are suicidal and you feel like they have it all. Same thing to people with cheat. Same people that are depressed and you feel like they have it all to the naked eye. But what's going on in here, the truth always comes out. Okay, that's why you have a Bill Cosby that admitted to doing all of these horrible things to these women. That's why you have a Harvey Weinstein, okay, that made all these movies and gave all these actors and actresses a shot, okay? That's why you have things like that. That's why you have, what was the guy, the football player that went to jail for murder and then ended up committing suicide? I think his name was Aaron. I can't remember his full name, but that's why you have stories like that. They exist because the truth will always reveal itself, especially the stuff that you have not dealt with. So when someone is not taking into account that they may destroy their family, they may make their spouse feel like they're not good enough for whatever the case may be, when they're not thinking about that, like even when you relate it to a drug addiction, right? They're not thinking about that. They thinking about what's going on inside and how can I fill this void? What can I use? And a lot of the times when it's accolades, when it's drugs, whatever type of materialistic thing, when it's those things, okay, that don't last for long. It's a temporary fix. Okay, it's a temporary happy, right? But you're not really addressing the underlying issue, which is your mental health and your self-esteem. Okay, that's what it links back to, that problem. A lot of the times also when I look at the stories and the psychological trauma, there's also some sexual trauma there a lot of times when it comes to this hyper over sexuality, that you can just remove yourself and get this necessarily, remove yourself from reality and get this temporary fix, whatever you decide to be that temporary fix that doesn't last long, okay? So I mean, a lot of people look at self-esteem. There's a broad term for self-esteem. It doesn't just have to do with like how you feel about how you look. It has to do with how you feel as a person. You know, do you like yourself? Okay, do you feel like you're worthy of happiness, or is it just a show? Is it just a performance? Have you faced you? Do you carry some guilt based off of your trauma and what happened to you as a child? Have you not addressed it? Right? Are you running from it? Okay, are you sabotaging? You know, that all has to do with self-esteem, self-worth, and self-value. So, I know y'all saw the ones that did seen the ones that did see the Janet Jackson documentary, and Jermaine was like, I was cheating because, you know, when you with somebody like Janet, more women want you. And I'm a man. That I'm a man stuff, that had nothing to do with it. Okay. Nothing. I mean, there is a trend with men not feeling comfortable expressing their emotions based off of the stigma of expressing emotions. They look at it as a feminine trait, you know, that part, the toxic masculinity, if you want to say that, but don't just leave it at as I'm a man and that's what men do. No, 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 because women cheat too, right? But the part that I was paying attention to that he gave to you guys was that more people, more women wanted him. More women wanted, okay? So he wasn't fulfilled in himself, right? So he went for the extra attention and fell into it, even though you had what a lot of women wanted to be Janet Jackson, because Janet Jackson was that girl, okay? When it comes to beauty, sex appeal, right? Talent, she was that girl. So the fact that you, if it wasn't Janet, it was it was somebody that didn't have all that what Janet had. So you, right, that had nothing to do with you just being a man. It had to do with your ego and your self-esteem. Okay. Especially, I know you all are seeing a trend when it comes to men. I would say the celebrity men that you do know that have cheated, and the jokes about them, right? Okay. Um, Jay-Z. Jay-Z has African features. Okay. And the anti-blackness told people that he was ugly. Okay. He's not. He just got our features. So hearing that is over and over again, especially when you're with Beyonce, and you know the majority that go by that standard feel like she's beautiful, you start to believe it. Okay, Kevin Hart with a model, married a model, you know, after, you know, leaving his beautiful ex-wife. Okay, he went for what the Hollywood standard was. Okay, and while she was pregnant, got caught cheating. Now think more than once, but that's allegedly, but got caught on camera. And she jokes his height, you this, you that, right? That part, if you let it, it wears and tears on your self-esteem. Right? Halle Berry, like when you're with the standard and you still like that ain't doing it for you. And that's the thing. It's not, you're not supposed to depend on your accolades to provide your happiness. That's the problem, because you are looking at certain women based off of the standard and how they make you look as a trophy. Okay. You can't lean on that as your happiness because it's not real. And that's what has you risking everything, the livelihood of your family and what you created over this feeling. Not addressing your ego and not working on your self-worth as a person. Okay. I could relate to everybody. If you also want to call, Bill the abuser, which he admitted to, right? You're also engaging in these acts with these other women. Okay. So somebody so powerful, like if y'all haven't seen that video, watch the video because I go into depth about that documentary and Cosby as a person. But like I said before, he chose to drug these women. It had nothing to do with them. It had to do with his ego. Because he could have had anybody, but he chose to drug them, take advantage, and have no remorse, which it's all listed in his deposition. So there is no debate whether he did it or not. He said he did. So that part, right? That part. And yes, I do believe the ones that stay do have low self-esteem. I do. I do. You saying Beyonce have low self-esteem? She might. I don't know. But not saying that people can't recover from cheating. And I feel like Jay-Z might have, I mean, he did go to therapy. So that is a step in the right direction to regain trust. Right? Now, if we keep seeing him, right? If it comes out again, then that might be the answer to your question. Right? And if she stays again, and then people, they have this when it comes to celebrities, a lot of them that are married, they do have a lot to lose. They have a whole lot to lose. So there's other things that they have to think about as far as why they stay together. Even many couples in high powered positions, they have a lot to lose, right? So they have to choose at the end of the day, how they allow people to treat them based on what, and if it's worth it. They got to do that, and I don't think it's necessarily healthy for your children or your bloodline, period, to stay in a toxic, dishonoring relationship. I don't know if that's a good thing. People make mistakes, and yes, people aren't perfect, but if it's something that continues to happen, that person is deciding to let it continue to happen, and somebody has to make a shift, right? Somebody has to believe at some point they don't deserve this and they're not going to take it anymore. So who knows what will happen in the future? But as far as us regular people, the same thing relates. Like I said, I just use the celebrities because we pretty much all have common knowledge of what they stuff, what their stuff is, because it's on social media, it's on the news, it's everywhere, right? We all have access to that. So I hope this helped, right? Self-esteem. If you wonder why your daddy cheated, ask. I mean, look at how, is he a person that can handle his anger? Is he a person that is emotionally available, right? Then ask, is this somebody that loves themselves? And don't look at just materials. Don't look at materials at all to determine that. Don't look at awards or accolades at all. Look at the person and how they treat themselves, right? How they treat other people too, because the signs are there. And if you are somebody that has had that issue, yes, go to therapy and work on yourself. You should be celibate. Nick Cannon, another one. I'm happy that he said that his therapist told him to be celibate. And this last pregnancy, he knew that the 7th or 8th child uh was going to be born before he got that assignment from his therapist. So I'm hoping that he'll listen, you know, because that's ego. That is not taking into account the broken homes, that's not taking into account his heart, the hearts of the women that probably are still holding out that he come back and actually have a relationship with them. It's not taking into account none of that damage and that trauma. So I'm very proud that he's in therapy, and I'm hoping that it does help. But at the end of the day, you got to make a decision. Do you want true happiness, or you just want to look happy in front of everybody? Pick one. Okay? Pick one. And if you want to, an open relationship, if you don't want to be tied down, just don't be in a relationship, and let people know up front where you're at and where you stand, and let them make the decision. That's the best thing you can do. Let them make the decision whether this is worth the risk. Okay? So I hope that was helpful. I hope that was helpful. Um, I love to share things when I figure them out. I'm a Pisces. That's what I do. Okay. So, and my intentions are pure. That's also something that we do. And I want you to have the information I have. And I hope that is helpful to you. I really do. Okay. So comment down below. Let me know what you think. Okay. If you have anything to add, if you disagree, if you agree, like the video. Okay. Share it. I want to know your thoughts about my theory that cheating is all about self-esteem and ego. Okay? Let me know. All right. Until next time. Bye. This channel will produce content that is both podcast and on-screen style. So if you're interested and you enjoyed today's show, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you soon.